Namaskar. My name is Lalit Kumar, as you just saw. Most of my life I spent in New Delhi, the political capital of India. But for the last 2 years, I'm spending months in Mumbai, which is business capital of India, and also in Pune, which is educational capital of India. I am from DLC's Global ESG Committee, Delhi chapter. Topic of my presentation today is primacy of people, participation, and partnerships. Topic comes from my long experience in government and a GONGO, government NGO, and a CSO, and also my educational background. I worked for about 30 years in Government of India, and they are mainly dealt with voluntary sector, which is also called as third sector, as opposed to public and private sector. So people's participation is the key word in most of our development programs, people's movement, people's participation. But in corporate culture, people means employees, users, and all stakeholders. So a couple of days ago, there was a survey report where they have identified best places to work, best companies to work in India. And most of the companies who were identified were investing in their people, and by making their employees happy, they were creating pleasant workspace for unleashing and inspiring innovations. So people are important, and they have to participate for the goals of a company or a mission. And partnerships are also required. So this is my topic. I'll come to the topic details a little later. But before that, I did anthropology from Delhi University and then did postdoctoral research in University of Arizona, Tucson, and I also studied government contracting involving non-profit sector in Baltimore, where I was working at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. So in Planning Commission, which is now Niti Aayog, I dealt with divisions like social development, environment and forest, project appraisal and management, and youth affairs and sports, and mainly voluntary sector, where I had the opportunity to draft a national policy for voluntary sector. So people's organization or community based organizations were the mainstay, where I had to interact with large number of such organizations. And after Planning Commission's stint, I got a job on deputation at National Foundation for Communal Harmony, which is an autonomous body of Ministry of Home Affairs, which I headed for 4 years. There it was a different type of experience, learning, and again involving people from different states. There we used to help children affected by terrorism, ethnic violence, communal violence. And after that, I joined a prominent CSO, Sulabh International Social Service Organizations. They are leading organization having presence in almost all states of India and footprints in other countries also. There I was mainly coordinating CSO works, and during that period I interacted with more than 200 private companies and public sector enterprises. With this experience, I'm happy to be part of DLC, And I would like to say that this aim and mission of Mr. Jimmy Mistry is laudable, and we have to take care of these issues. I talked about people, they have to be involved, and people's participation from the guard, security guard, or peon to the top boss, CEO, they all have to be involved. They have to participate to achieve the mission and goals of any particular organization or company. And besides their participation, partnerships are unavoidable. Like UN SDGs, the goal 17 is about partnerships. So similarly, uh, DLC has also identified partnership as one of the focus area. While interacting with some of the B schools, I realized the importance of business anthropology, also known as corporate anthropology or enterprise anthropology. That is a scholastic practicing field where anthropologists, by their knowledge, help companies to resolve their problems, improve their products, services, and systems. To illustrate this point, there are many studies. Actually, it started in 1980s when Japanese companies were working in US and US companies were going to Japan. So their cultures are different. Work culture was different. So anthropologists were asked to interpret, make sense what's happening. So gradually, the subject developed, and many anthropologists are working in big companies like Google and Intel. To illustrate my point that how business anthropology or corporate anthropology can help companies, I would like to share with you a case study based on a paper published in Harvard Business School 2014. Title of the paper was An Anthropologist Walks into a Bar. There was a big European brewery. Their sales were going down in the market, particularly in pubs and bars. So they were worried. In stores and malls, their sale was okay. But why in bars and pubs, sale was going down? So they tried traditional, their muscular marketing, research, analytics, and all those things. But they were not able to find why sales are going down in bars and pubs. Then they hired anthropologists. They were asked to go to dozens of bars in UK and Finland. So they immersed in the staff of those bars and tried to understand what's happening. It was presumed that promotional material sent by that company must be used, posters or t-shirts and all that. And good product should be sold, but then the whole material, ethnographic material, videos, photographs, they were analyzed by managers and anthropology staff together, and they realized that the people at the cutting edge, bar girls, were not aware about the products of that company. They were also worried how to go home late. At that time, perhaps Uber, Ola were not there. So it was decided to provide promotional material which is not fit for all, one fit for all type. It should vary according to the people in that particular region. And girls who were serving there, they were educated, they were told about the products, and they were provided taxi service. Things improved. The workplace environment improved, and within 2 years, the sale rebounded. Sale moved up and up. So that was one interesting case study. So there are many more such case studies, but the basic point is the human science or people-centric uh, experts can be utilized by companies. Companies may be big or small, working in FMCG or financial services or in media or hospitality. So this is one point which I wanted to highlight. And then I opted for uh, diversity and inclusion community of DLC and requested to include indigenous people also under that. Already there are consideration for specially abled people and LGBTQI. But what I feel, indigenous people, they were suffered the most all over the world. Their land, their resources were taken away. So they should also be given proper weightage while we talk about diversity and inclusion. We celebrate diversity and we honor different type of people. So this is very relevant not only for US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, but also to Brazil and some other Latin American countries, as well as for South Africa and some other African countries. And the message to my young social impact entrepreneurs is to focus on some of the indigenous tribal people around us, their products, artifacts, organic horticulture or agricultural produce that needs to be marketed properly. There are attempts, but as a young entrepreneur, you can do that job in a new way on e-platform, linking with the market. There is, to me, I think there is a lot of potential. For example, right near Bombay, we have Warli paintings. Excellent paintings, and their longevity is very good. I have a full set being used for the last 7 years. Perfectly fine. Anthropologists' lens constitutes different methodological tools. One is cultural relativism. We should not understand other cultures by imposing our own viewpoints or assumptions. And then related to that is emic and ethic approach. Ethic approach is what we are having in our mind about that particular community or culture, whereas emic approach is thinking from their angle. So this emphasis on empathy in current design thinking or design ethnography is also related to emic approach. And then we have ethnographic uh, tools to understand properly a culture or community. And overall, a holistic view is presented. New perspective, new look on a particular issue or problem is provided by some of these tools of anthropologists. So that needs to be realized, and then they can make sense of some of the findings. There may be a report from a multidisciplinary design team. So what all they are saying, the nuances can be interpreted by anthropologists. I remember while in Arizona, there were some church groups. They showed me some videos and they wanted to know what all they are saying. To make a sense, they asked me to interpret those findings. Similarly, in Baltimore, there were INGOs, international NGOs, donating money to different big NGOs and they were passing to smaller NGOs. So, what actually is happening? What are the complications, pros and cons? For that, they asked me to interpret that particular data and videos. So, these are some of the characteristics of anthropological grounding, which can be utilized appropriately by different companies. And I look forward to volunteer for any such request. If there is any, I would be happy to interpret it and make sense of some problem if somebody is facing. I'm really thankful to DLC for giving this opportunity to address a wide audience and look forward for more linkages and to contribute in whatever way I can do to bring smiles on the faces of people of India. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.